Hello and
Oh,
welcome.
okay.
Welcome to the brand new show from the FaltuCast. We have Zuzia here with us, and today we are gonna do What's Your Story first episode, and we're gonna ask who is she. Hello, Zuzia. How are you?
Hi. I'm so grateful to be here, especially that you were talking about this podcast for some time now.
Yeah,
So I'm very grateful to be the first guest, and I'm honored. Okay, so who I am?
yeah.
So basically, I would define myself at the moment as a little bit confused 24-year-old person who is trying to figure out life and trying to be as curious as possible. So I graduated physiotherapy as my master's, but well, it's not something that I would define myself with, because I studied it for 5 years, but I felt maybe it's not my answer in life.
So we will go to your childhood first. How was your childhood?
Oh wow, it's like a therapy. Okay, I like this format. So, as a kid, I remember that I was pretty, let's say, I was pretty curious about like every kind of creative possibility. So I always wanted to dance, I wanted to sing, I wanted to write. I even when I was a kid, I had this like little like old camera, and I remember like vividly that I was recording makeup tutorials or something like that. And I remember that I talked with my mom, and she was like, you were just like, you wanted to do everything, you wanted to be like everyone. And I was never like, I didn't settle for only one answer. When someone was asking me like, who do you want to be, I was like, oh my god, there are so many options. So as a kid, I was also acting like very smart. I was like, I thought that I'm smarter than everyone. But yeah, like I was a complicated kid as well. Like I think I was even like a little bit manipulative. Yes, I used the manipulation with my brother. I was like crying, like acting like crying, but my parents always knew that I'm acting, so I guess I wasn't a good actress, but yeah,
So you have done your master in physiotherapy. How
yes.
does that happen? Like, how did you do that?
So the thing is like as a kid, I was always like very stressed about every step of education, and I always thought that I need an exact plan. So, but for me, it wasn't like I figured out what I want to do and I was pursuing it. I was like very confused and I didn't know. And I was talking with my mom a lot about it. And I always knew that I want to work with people and I always want to like help people and just like be in service. That was something that I was always interested in. And when I was making the decision about high school, I was thinking that, okay, I will go to like biology and chemistry profile. And from that point, usually people who choose this profile wants to be doctors, and go to medical field. So I was like, I don't really want to be a doctor. So what else can I do? Like I was actually thinking about being a doctor, but then I realized maybe that's not my answer. And I think physiotherapy came from this point that I was like, I imagined that I will help people walk after the surgeries, and it seemed like a very good field of service. And I was like, yeah, I will learn about human body. I will just like help individuals, and I figured it out. And maybe it was also influenced by my best friend because we were in the same high school together, and she was also thinking about it. So in my brain I was like, okay, she's thinking about it, it's a good idea. So after all, we ended up in the same group at university as well, so that was probably also affected by her.
Also, how was your childhood and growing up in Poland? Like you were born there?
Yes, I was born and raised in Warsaw, and my childhood, considering the community and everything, wasn't that easy because, well, I was bullied, and I think a lot of people can, like relate to that. But at some point, I was even a bully. It was like, like all of the cool girls that I wanted to hang out, they were bullying like other girls. So I was like, okay, so that's the thing that everyone does. But then like I came from being bullied in one school to having friends from other school and like being like cool with them, and then I ended up being bullied by cool kids from different school and getting accepted by people from my school. So it was like very confusing, and I always wanted to have friends, but I guess it was like I had some kind of issue to like communicate it properly with them. And I think maybe my self-esteem wasn't that good when I was a kid. So growing up wasn't easy, but everything started to slowly change when I entered like 13, 14-year old. I started to gain more confidence because I changed school as well, and I started to be like develop myself, and everything went okay when I was in high school. So it was quite a journey.
Did you bully anyone? Like, did you bully yourself into anyone?
Yeah, it's not something that I'm proud of. It was just like sometimes it was more like a silent agreement. So I had this like one friend, and well, she started to be bullied by these girls, and I didn't like defend her. And I was like, I wasn't like very, very active in that, but I was like participating more like passively, as far as I remember, but I was a kid, so maybe I was even active. But then it changed that she was bullying me with the same girls. So, well, they were like manipulating everyone. So that's the thing. But it was like because of this, need to be accepted, because I struggled a lot in being accepted when I was a kid.
So now tell me about your hobbies, interests, so we can talk about that.
Okay, my hobbies and interests. So since I remember, it was always singing, and that was always something that was in the back of my head. And I don't know if it was because of the like lack of self-esteem or anything, but at some point of my singing journey, I decided like, oh, I will not have a job out of that. So what's the point of trying? Let me give up on this. But singing was like very, very close to my heart always. And now like I'm proud to say that it is a part of my hobbies as well. I always also remember that I loved to write. Like every like literature assignment was like, let me just write a lot of stuff, and I always liked to play with words. And I remember like some kind of like of early curiosities about like photography and videography, but I didn't explore it much till like past years. So yeah, but also like my huge hobby are the people. I love talking with people. I love to getting to know them. I love to ask like interesting questions and just, like make new friends. And recently also traveling is a very big part of my plans and hobbies as well.
So when you meet someone new, as you said, you like meeting new people. What is the
Yes.
first thing you ask them?
Oh no, like it's not usually like something very deep. It's usually like, hi, how are you? Or something like a small talk. I don't dive deep at the beginning. It's just like for sure, like firstly it's about the name. And then I ask the second time about the name, because when I meet a big group of people, I'm just like, there's like two stages of knowing someone, like saying hi and actually like, what's your name again? And usually just conversations just develop by themselves. Like I don't really try to like ask very specific deep questions. It's just when I feel the flow with someone, we just like start to, like have the same frequencies, and we are just like opening up. And I don't really have problem with opening up with the people around me. And I believe that I also create the safe space for other people to open up for me. So usually it just like happens like pretty organically, I would say. So yeah, like I don't really have like I always say I love to ask deep questions, but I don't have this set list of deep questions. Like when they come to my mind, I just like, okay, that's a good question to ask.
So you also told us that you like traveling. So far, where have you been traveled, or where have you been?
So in the past year, I traveled quite a lot, I would say. And over the past summer, like I would say, like the two highlights of my traveling lately. The first one was hitchhiking in Europe as a solo female traveler. I was going to from Poland to France to the grape harvest. And I was working in the field. It was like quite an experience. So hitchhiking alone through Germany, Switzerland, and a part of France was quite eye-opening experience for me when it comes to like my confidence and also like even a sense of security. Like I felt very safe even when the drivers were asking me like, are you not scared of doing this alone? I'm like, as long as I have drivers like you, I'm fine, you know, like as long as I meet good people on my way, like I'm all set. And recently I went to Egypt for 1 month to visit some online friends, which for my family was like, what are you doing? Why? So I went there for a month, and of course, like there were questions if I'm gonna be safe, if it's gonna be okay for being a solo female, and like visiting people online, and like that's kind of like shady.
I
Um,
have a question regarding this.
yeah,
Since Egypt is like Muslim majority country,
yeah.
and Europe has very different way of to see those kind of
Mm.
Muslim countries. So how did you convince your parents? Number one, and how was your experience? Number two.
So I didn't have to convince my parents much because Egypt was something that what I was talking about like since like 2 or 3 years. Like I started to drop this topic at the dining table and I was like, "Ah, you know, I'm considering going to Egypt." And my parents were like, why? How? Like what's going on? And it's been some time since I planted the idea in their head. So when I actually started to like plan it, they weren't quite surprised. And also the thing is like I'm 24 and my parents doesn't really have much to say anymore about like my life. Like they can give me opinions, but they don't really affect what I'm gonna do. And what was my experience like? To be honest, like I came back, I think like 1 month ago, like 1 month ago I came back to Europe, and I'm still processing everything in my mind because the thing is like I went there without any expectations, and I also went there without any, you know, strong beliefs. I just went there like with very open mind. And considering like Muslim culture, like it was interesting to experience that for the first time, especially coming from like, you know, 90% Catholic country and like mostly Polish, you know, like we don't have much diversity here. It was very interesting for me to like actually see that, you know, they're Muslim people because I knew that before. And I think because of getting to know like more and more international people online, like I was already aware that, well, my perspective of the world that I grew up in, it's not really true, you know. Because like when I was a kid I thought like most of the people are Christians and like Muslims are just like this tiny bit one, because like that's the thing that they are like telling us, you know, like even not like directly, that's the thing that they make us believe. So I already having like some friends and getting to more and more, getting to know more and more through my friends about the culture. I just went there just like having the open mind. And to be honest, it wasn't very, you know, like shocking or like my mind didn't blow up because I already knew the stuff. But like actually getting to know how it looks like from that perspective of being there was very interesting. And I had like very important and powerful conversations with people who live in Egypt about the struggles and upsides and downsides. And those are the conversations that will always stay very close to my heart. And I feel still like after this month that I'm not feeling ready to like express everything that I'm processing, because in Egypt, like the thing that I experienced the most was love, like from all of the Egyptians. Like I really felt like I was adopted by them. Like I didn't have to worry about anything. They always wanted to take the extra step to just like make my stay like comfortable. And I went there having like two or three friends. I came back with having like a lot, and I know those are the people when I will be there, like they will be for me, no matter what. So that was very beautiful. But also like realizing what is the reality of being a woman there. Like I know that being a tourist, it's completely different than actually living there, because I can say I love Egypt, I enjoyed my time, and bye bye. But at the same time, like being in this reality in living with the struggles and this upsides and downsides, it's completely different. And I think even if I was there for like 2 months or 3 months, I wouldn't experience it like 100% like at all, because the tourists are just treated differently.
So what are your future plans? Do you have any bucket list that you want to travel these countries?
I don't really have bucket list of the countries that I want to visit. To be honest, I more think about traveling, about list of people that I want to visit, because like, well, countries are beautiful and nature is beautiful and everything, but like the thing that interests me the most are the people, and also like my friends all over the world, because like I'm very lucky girl that I can have like as many friends around the globe that I can just like, hi, I'm coming.
Let me help you to make a list. Okay, the bucket list. Add Pakistan on top of it, and then come
I
over here.
know, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's in the process, like it is in the process. It will happen someday. Like I'm sure about that.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You were
for
saying.
now, like coming like kind of freshly from the previous adventure, I'm not really rushed into making the next
Another trip.
decision.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I enjoy being in my home and seeing my friends and spending time with family. And I believe that when the perfect opportunity will come, it will just come, and I will just like feel it. So
Okay.
yeah.
Before we talk about this, you were telling me that you worked in a field, right?
Where?
You worked in a field, right?
Yes, I was picking grapes.
Yeah. So what were your duties and what was the experience and everything?
So the work in the field was pretty like in like I can say interesting, but that's the type of work that like a lot of people are doing, and just like it's like just normal job. But I'm just a city girl, and I was like, oh wow, I'm picking grapes, that's so fun. But so basically I was cutting grapes from the bushes, and I was putting them in the bucket, and then I was putting them in the bigger buckets, and the guy with the bigger bucket was putting it in the cart. So that was like basically everything that I did, except like destroying my body as well, because it was like 10 work, like 10-hour work shift with the break in the middle for food. So it was like 2 hour, like 2 weeks of working. Um, and there was something about working in the nature outside, like that even though I was like suffering physically and mentally at the end, I was like, that's nice. Like, because I can just cut grapes and I don't need to worry about anything. I don't have any stress if I will cut the grapes properly. I don't have any stress if I will hit the target of cutting grapes, or if I will be the most efficient grape picker. I don't have any award. I just pick grapes. So that was great. And also, there were a lot of international people there. So I made, like grape harvest family as well. So I think the thing that made this whole experience so incredible were like the people around.
That's amazing. Also, you write and you sing. Have you made any song yet? I know you did, but still.
Yeah, like I am writing recently. I'm writing less, but I'm also not stressing about that because writing songs is like supposed to serve me, not be something that I should be stressed about. So I do write songs about my personal experience, and it was very helpful for me to write the songs when I was like feeling lost a bit, because that was kind of like writing the song was like kind of opening the door of my mind and letting like everything that is like swirling around just go to the paper, because like every rhyme that it was going, I was like, hi, this is the thing that you need to think about, consider that, like this is going there. So it was pretty nice experience when I was like mentally lost, let's say. Recently I don't write the songs much because like writing songs were my coping mechanism when the things got like a little bit tough. And now like I guess I have different coping mechanisms, but I still sing and I play ukulele as well.
Do you have any plan to record a song?
Yeah, sure. Like in the future, I would love that. I would love to like get a professional team around me to help me organize everything around, and maybe some professional musicians, because like I identify more as a singer than a player. So it would be nice to just like find some people to vibe with and create an album or something. But that's something that is somewhere in the future. I'm like, when it's
Let me
gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
let me put you on the spot. Can you sing two lines for us?
Oh my god, no, like a cappella without anything.
Yeah, I mean you're good. I know that, so you can try
Oh my god, but should it be my song or
anything you like.
okay? Oh, now you're gonna stress me out. Okay. Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I think about the water. And I think of all the things, what you're doing. In my head, I paint a picture. Since I've coming home, well, my body's been a mess. And I miss your ginger hair. Okay, that was a lot. Okay, is that enough? It's
Eh,
enough.
yeah,
Yes.
great. So I want to tell my people, the one who are watching the show, that you are a YouTuber as well. And
Yes,
how
I
did you
too.
start YouTube?
It was time of the first lockdown when I had a lot of time to think. And I realized, oh, I have this memory of recording myself when I was a kid and I was recording tutorials of makeup. I was like, why wouldn't I give it a try? Because like I always watched a lot of YouTube. Like I was like following a lot of people and I was like, well, maybe I can do that too. So I started, it was like very chill vlogs, and then I stopped, then I started again, then I stopped, then I started again, then I stopped. It's kind of like a cycle of me being motivated and inspired and then going through the time that I don't really have time, and like I don't make time, I would say.
What
um
inspired you to make videos? What motivates you to do YouTube?
That's a good question. I'm usually more drawn into YouTube when I don't have many other things to like. I don't have like a lot of university or a lot of job or a lot of intensity around me, and when I have this like calm space to create, like that's the environment that I'm thriving in, because like it's very easy. But what's inspired me to make YouTube videos is mostly personal experience, because few years ago I went to through this self-development journey and soul searching and, like evolving as a person. And I healed a lot of stuff within myself, and I learned a lot of stuff. Like I basically changed my whole mindset, because like I used to be a person who like complains a lot, and I wasn't very positive as well, I would say, at some point of my life. But I went through this like journey over the past 4 or 5 years already. Oh my god, that's a long time. But I just want to share like everything that I learned on the way, and also like a little bit of
Yes.
spontaneity, and just doing like cool stuff with my life, because I just want to live the life the fullest, and I want to like think, how can I do this actually?
So tell our viewers about like top three videos of yours who they should watch. Like they should watch the
um
videos.
Oh, that's a very good questions. And I would say the top three videos that I like the most personally. Um, it's one about like my biggest insecurity, because it's targeting the, body dysmorphia and everything that most of the girls are struggling with, and the guys as well. And there was also this, I talk about this pressure to look certain way, and it was a big step, because like body insecurities was something that was holding me back from many enjoyments of life, like it was a lot, like I didn't want to go to the sea. I always thought that I don't like water, and turned out I do like water. I just didn't like to wear the swimsuit. But this year, like everything changed finally, and I do enjoy the swimming sessions again. The other video, it's one of the firsts that I created. It's like about enjoying little things and living more mindfully. This is like the video that I'm like, every time when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, the quality maybe is not the best, but like I love the message. And I need to remember what other. And the video that I created recently for my birthday, maybe it's like not the very complicated video, but it's about the realization that I had that like nothing is constant and everything is temporary. It is a big realization of mine being 24, that really everything is changing. And even when you think that something's gonna stay forever, like even within yourself, it's gonna change for sure.
First of all, thank you for being part of the show.
Thank you
And
for having me.
everyone, please go to her channel, support her, and watch her videos, share,
Yeah.
and yeah, do the thing what you need to do. Okay,
Yeah.
subscribe to our
It's
channel as
Susanna
well.
Wave.
I I'll,
Susanna Wave.
I will share the link and Instagram on the description.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you so much for
thank you so
having me.
much. Enjoy. Take care. Bye bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.